Okay. This is it. Get your dice. Get your sheet. Get something sharp to carve your hit point total into into your arm or something. Let's do this. It's time for some Dungeons and Dragons. All right. Hey, interweebs. It is me. My name is Todd, and I am not alone. I've got some people with me. We're going to play some D&D, and yes, that is a hand-drawn creeper over my shoulder, so I'm going to keep an eye on him. Don't let him get too close. All right. It's been a while. We had to take a week off, and now we're back. And guess what? We're on a boat! All right, so let's meet the peoples. Let's go meet the peoples. So hi, everybody. You're on now. And we'll just give you a chance to say hello to all the fine peoples.
Hellos.
Greetings, people of the interworld web wideness.
Miss us? We're back.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Well, I definitely missed you guys. We took a week off. I did a bunch of stuff. It was March break, so I hope you all had a good March break too. Let's do this. I went to a sugar bush. So one of the things I did was boil some sap. I didn't do it, but I observed boiling the sap and evaporating all the water, and you're left with the sugary goodness of the syrup, highly concentrated. So I want you to do the same thing about your March breaks. In 3 words, condense your week off, just for fun. So what was your March break like? And you can also introduce yourself and your characters. How's that sound? And you're all just like, I just want to play Dungeons and Dragons.
I can summarize it.
Wait a minute, we got an interloper. We have somebody snuck in here. What the?
Hey everybody.
Sound the alarm.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Darcy.
Yeah.
I
if
think
you've been following this show from the beginning, I was in session 0 where I made a character, and then you never saw me again.
It was actually one of the shorts that we did too, that I cut together. All about you fruiting. And Jackie's not with us, unfortunately, either. But the schedules,
It's true.
the big bad of Dungeons and Dragons for everyone. Schedules.
Exactly.
Yep.
Anyway,
Well,
so
I can
Darcy,
sum up my March break in 3 words.
let's do it. Go for it, Steve.
Hasn't happened yet.
Ooh.
I
March
was going
break
to say didn't have one, but yeah, same idea.
I can say the same thing. I could say I worked a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. I
Love
worked
it.
a lot. That's if a lot is one word, that counts.
Or worked a lot.
It's
A
not.
lot.
It's not.
It's hyphenated.
Work lots. I work lots.
Worked
Yeah.
lots.
You could say worked a lot. That would make
Yep.
sense.
Or worked muchly.
No,
I don't know.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
that's illegal.
What about yourself there, Carl?
Work from home.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm on my March break right now, but unfortunately my daughter is back at school, so
So
just
you're just getting relaxing time during the day. That's a good thing. Honestly,
Yeah. That's
I'm at the
Ish.
point.
ish.
I'm at the point where if I'm ever home and my kids are at school, it's just like, I sit on the couch. I watch comedians in cars drinking coffee. It's awesome. We are not affiliated with them, but I mean, if
I
Jerry
don't
wants
know
to
who
play
Dan
some
is in this
D&D,
situation, so.
like, dude, we can kick Darcy out again. I'm kidding.
True. I probably won't be here next week. This is my guest appearance.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
he's the one. He's the one we throw off the plank at the end of the session.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Because
Yeah.
you're on a boat.
Everyone gets to,
We're on a
gets
boat.
to plot how to kill me.
Yeah, we'll watch for that. So, Darcy, I don't know, what was your last week like? Condensed to 3 words, break or not?
Yeah, I mean, it was. Oh, just like, what happened last week?
That's it. That's the 3 words.
Yeah, that works for me. I'm okay with that.
I feel like the internet just felt that, like, in their soul. A little bit of Marge Simpson at the end there, like just a smidge.
Yeah. That works. That works.
I
I'm
try
okay
to
with
work
that.
on my Marge impression. And that's my wife who told me that. Yeah. And what about yourself, Tihmily? How was your week last week?
I mean, the 3 words: chill, but sick.
Oh no!
Aw.
Isn't that always the way?
I know. I did, because I do work for school too. So I did get last week off, but yeah, it just kind of sucks when like the last 3 days and then another additional day into this week, you were kind of eaten up by you being like, I'm the carrier of plague and disease.
Yeah. I know that
I
feeling.
took 2 rapid tests though.
Yeah.
Not fun, but both negative.
Well, congrats on negative. All right, and we hope internet you're negative, but in like the usual internet way, and also the other ways. And I guess I'll go. Mine was planning future trips. So yeah, I'm planning to do a nice big trip, and sometime in the summer. So yeah, look for me somewhere in North America. That's the plan. I kind of mean that. If any listeners want to be like, hey, are you passing through? Just hit me up on the Instagram, and we can I don't know, roll some dice or something. A portable D&D. I'd be down for that. All right. So anyway, so we're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons. This is why we're all here tonight, and we're just gonna meet all the characters, and a quick reminder you guys can do of where we left off. All right. Let's start with Steve.
Yeah, he's been kind of working on his Gex Techford has been working on himself, self-improvement, deciding what to do with his leveling up. So has acquired some new skills and abilities, which will come into play
Definitely.
when it is the most dramatic possible, hopefully.
So you're just sitting in your bunk on the ship, just practicing your new skill or something, or looking out over the horizon, throwing up like vigorously into the ocean, and you suddenly realize, I can do better.
Yeah, you know, he's all about self-improvement.
There you go.
And at other times he's about self-destruction. You know, so it's a good balance.
Yeah,
You tear
makes
down
sense.
and rebuild.
His whole theme is about contradiction, right? I mean, he's the world's largest cat burglar, so he needs to have other contradictions as well.
Nice. All right. Well, I look forward to discovering what those are, along with our listeners and viewers. All right, Carl, tell us about Mr. Tillman.
Mr. Tillman, what's not to tell? The guy loves to learn and travels. This Tortle Cleric does it all.
He's got like a small library tucked into his armpit sleeve.
Wow.
That's right. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, he's your resident Tortle Cleric with some underlying anger issues that so far has been able to maintain under control.
Deep breathe, just scream into the shell. Honestly, who would not want the ability to just be like, I think that might be the way I deal with things from now on.
You know, you're
All right.
just working. Your manager tells you to do something, and you're like, 1 second.
This I feel like we may just invent a turtleneck for just that purpose. Just screaming. Screams go here, right on the neck. All right, Gordon, tell us a bit about Rook.
Rook is on a journey. He is trying to build a crew, build a name, and on the way, help out his friends. And yeah, that's kind of his plan right now. A little bit winging it, a little bit relying on advice from his friends still, and seeing where that takes him.
Awesome. And you just recently reached out to a new friend who might be able to be more help on the high seas. And so we'll be meeting somebody else. And when we say friend, we mean people that only you see, although not entirely, actually. Sometimes your Tortle friend there did see some at one point.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's weird. All right. Onwards. Tihmily, tell us about Hilda.
All right. Well, Hilda is just a fresh adventurer starting off and looking to have adventures, but also prove herself after a dismal performance at med school. But honestly, what's in her future is not going on heists with Gex.
You did that workshop. It didn't go well.
It didn't go so well, but we made it out alive, and that's what counts.
There you go. With no ill effects whatsoever. All right, and then our guest, we're going to introduce. We already met Darcy, but we'll meet his contribution to the show in just a little bit. And I am Todd, and I will be your dungeon master. Do you remember that old tape? Yes, dungeon master. Anybody?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's like part of a board game or something.
Yeah, it was part of a board game on VHS. I had that when I was young. Anyway, we're getting off track. Let's dive back in. We're going to start this show. Let's push this button. Oh, there we go. You find yourselves... well, first thing, before I actually dive in, I would like everybody to roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh.
Damn, right off the bat.
Oops.
Huh, really?
Oh, shit.
We're starting this again?
Okay. An 18.
Christ.
Oh, nice.
The one that's been on the seas is the one's gonna get seasick.
Well, yeah, classic, right?
I was actually going to say, you're not entire landlubber, so I will... Although that's too funny. You know what? I was going to give you advantage, but no, I don't think so. I think this is the sea for you. This is beautiful, guys. Just... I love the ocean. All right. How'd you do, Gordon? Hello. Oh. I'm just asking for our audience. Gordon rolled a 16. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, Gordon? Yeah. Okay, cool.
I can now. Little blip.
Yep. It's very stormy out, so hopefully our interweebs will hold. And Steve got a 22, a dos. So
Nat 20.
That is so funny. Okay, so everybody.
That's my one for the day.
So Hilda, you just standing up on the not quite the bow of the ship, but pretty close, just holding onto the rail the way they that Captain Zim instructed you to do, with one hand, always one hand for the ship. But then you just kind of pull your red hair just whipping past your face, out of your eyes, and just scan the horizon and just take it in, this beautiful sunny day. And the sails are not luffing up, they're set just so above you, and the ship is just skipping along across the waves. It's a beautiful sunny day. Rook, you got a 16. Let's say you are actually down on your bunk catching a little bit of extra shut eye, and it's dark, and you're just kind of taking a little rest. You're feeling okay, a little queasy on the first day, but you actually find that after a while, once you get used to it, the rocking of the ship, and in your hammock especially, it's almost like you're just being gently lulled and rocked to sleep. Rolled. You're being gently rolled. Then we've got Gex. Gex, Captain Zim has not let anybody else go up on the lookout at the top, on the crow's nest. But you proved after the second day that you were nimble of foot, sure of hand, and you actually were pretty darn good on a ship. And so he had one of the other crew members show you some of the ropes, both literally and figuratively. And after a little while, you are now up on the not hanging on the mast or walking along one of the booms or anything, but you're actually in the little basket that's at the top. You don't quite trust yourself enough to do the walk along the mast or the booms like some of the crazy sailors do, but you've got the hang of it, so they've let you go up, and so you're up top, just your Goliath head kind of covered in a do-rag to keep the sun off, and it's that you borrowed, and it's just a beautiful day, just like Hilda's experiencing a good 40-50 feet below you. Dave.
Yes?
Since day one, you're not sure if you ate a bit of bad chowder or what's going on. But dude, you have been just yucking over the rail almost constantly. And eventually it was so bad they brought you a yoke with 2 buckets, one on each side. And you can then just into one, fill that up, and then shuffle it up, chuck it over the side, get the last of it up. You're at your stomach has been so empty. Now, this has a side effect that you are extremely lightweight right now. So one of your little shell mushrooms is like taking the edge off nice. So you're kind of enjoying this experience of giving back to the ocean. But you have been almost unfunctionably sick this whole time.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You've met a few of the crew, but yeah, that's it. That's about it. All right. Meanwhile, let's jump over to Rook just for a moment. It's dark, and you kind of lose track of time a lot right now, and for some reason, like, you're just sending your mind away as much as you can, trying not to over focus. And at first, when you were here, you actually felt a surge of panic, not surprisingly, and you've been working to fight that down. This sense of nausea or disconnectedness, a strange sense that you've let everybody down. And so you've just been kind of spending a lot of time like staring out or closing your eyes and staring inwards. You haven't been able to do all that much more, unfortunately. But you're healthy. You're unharmed, but it's a lot to take in. Your friends of your voices have been helping. Angel's been cracking jokes, trying to keep your spirits up. Cat has been just trying to keep you logical and rational as much as possible, and trying to work the problem, trying to find the angle so you can get back fully on mission, and just what to do next has just been pulling at you. And right up until this all went down, you've been pretty sure of what's next, and you were really pleased when you got the map and this mission itself. But that overwhelming sense of panic is hard to fight down. Ever since what happened at the Undertow, there's been this strange sense of dread at your heart. And that moment is difficult for you to shake away from right now, especially in solitude is manageable, but
Oh,
it's like the voices of the friends overlap a little too much sometimes, and it's really hard to get back to here and now at times. Amongst the rest of your friends, though, you also have another voice. You've gone seeking through the village in your mind, the village of your youth, asking questions, wandering through a market, wandering through the mists of time. And after some searching, and with the help of your closer friends, you have found your way to somebody who seems to claim that they know their way around. You, in your mind space, have now met a new companion. He's sitting on an upturned bucket down near the not the docks, but on the way down that way, and he's outside of a little tavern. He's just whittling with this 6-inch blade, and he looks up at you. He's wearing plain kind of tan-colored shirt and some dark brown, reinforced leather jerkin type pants. And he looks up at you. He appears to be a half-orc, but even in memory, it shifts. At times he seems more human, other times more bestial. But he's got the protruding teeth of a half-orc fairly prominently, and a slight point to his ear, kind of receding hairline a little bit, getting a bit of the widow's peak. Very, very short cropped hair, practically buzzed or possibly shaved with a razor at one point and allowed to grow in. And he looks up at you. Yes, what do you want?
Friends have been helping me try to find someone. They've never been on a ship, and neither have I.
I've traveled. What of it?
You can help me?
He looks down at his whittling work and kind of mutters to himself and then looks back at you.
And what do I get out of it?
Well, if you help me, I'm trying to help all of you get out.
He thinks for a while and then puts down the piece of wood, sheaths the blade, stands up, and he stands a good almost 1.5 feet taller than you. I mean, you're not the tallest of humans, but he's a pretty big guy. He's lean, though, for a half-orc.
All right. You've been helping the others. You can help me. I can help you. But know this. I've been at this a long time. I've seen things that would make you blush. Make you want to wet yourself. So, I would recommend that you listen to my advice very carefully, and we'll get along just fine.
Sounds like a deal. What's your name?
Vostlo. But most people call me Lo.
Lo?
Lo.
I'm
Vostlo.
Boslo. Well, I'm Rook.
Nice to meet you, Rook. It would be better under different circumstances, but we are where we are. And you are where you are. So, what is it you need from me?
Need to know how to man a ship, help it sail, be of use to the crew?
It has been a while, but I will do my best. And you'll find that with a little time and patience, I have a few other tricks that I might be able to share.
As you're sitting there, this high pitch whine sound, like almost like the aftershock of an explosion, begins just in the back of your head and grows. Until the point where it's almost like shockingly painful, and your eyes kind of white out for a second, not black out, white out for a second, and you open them, and for a moment you see this tiny view spread out in front of you, cut almost like letterbox film, and you see the bookshelf, and you see the atlas and the globe, and you see the old man kind of coming by, tucking a scroll, patting it, putting it away. And then that sense rises in you. I need you to do a let's do a wisdom saving throw, please.
Okay. 14.
Not bad, but still a fail. The next few seconds, a moment ago you whited out after you met Voslo. Now it's almost the color of blood, just pooling up from underneath as a blood vessel in your eyes, and you're having trouble controlling your breathing, and the strain of it all just the edges of your vision blur almost to a red haze, and you come to, and you're just screaming. You take a deep breath on the ship, and one of the crew members comes rushing down the ladder, running over, splashing through a couple of puddles and from leaks, comes running into the crew quarters and looks up and sees the hammock on the top of the 4 hammocks assigned to you guys. And he's, "Are you okay?"
Turn to him and I just say, "I think I just had a nightmare. My first dream in a really long time."
Congratulations?
Thanks.
Sorry I just thought maybe you hurt yourself. I think the captain was looking for you guys.
Okay, I'll be right there. Huh. Why am I breathing?
Wow.
Yeah, old habits die hard, I guess. Anyway, okay. So, at this point, you hear a whistle, and the watchman at the bow, kind of near Hilda, points out and calls out,
Hey, we see something.
and Gex, actually, you spot it too. Floating in the water, you see a makeshift raft. Actually, do a perception check for me. What is this? A novel? This is
You definitely see the raft, but how much do you get?
Yeah, exactly. You can see something floating in the water. That's a given.
Should I try? Because I'm
Sure.
a dwarf. I'm not sure if the railing's I'm
No,
touching.
you can look out over the railing. You might have to go up on tiptoes or stand on a bucket, but
I'll
Not-
lend her one of mine.
I was going to say. Slippery.
yeah, you've just got back from the back of the ship and sloshed your bucket, and so yeah. So you throw a bucket down, she hops up on it.
Yeah, that's
All right. 2 14s. Nice. All right.
Oh no.
Oh, and a 13.
No.
I guess the glare of the sun, it's hard to make out any. Oh, you got a total of a 7. My mistake.
Oh, no. I typed that in.
The railing.
That bucket just like shot out after.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You catch yourself. You don't hurt yourself, but you go stumbling off as a wave hits, and then Tillman's just like.
Oh no.
Meanwhile, Gex up top, you do see a raft. It's probably only about maybe 10 by 15. It's pretty much square. It looks like it's been put together by rough-hewn wood, perhaps even driftwood, logs lashed together. It's the classic flat raft kind of thing, and it's got a kind of a homemade mast and like a tatter of a sail. And you can make out there's a figure on it, but you can't really make out more detail than that. But the sailors nearby are quickly responding to the idea that somebody is a couple, they're like half a mile, not even that far, off the bow, and the captain orders the ship to turn, and you can see the flapping flags or rag. That it looks like somebody might be waving it a little bit, and the ship begins to turn, creak as it turns in the wind. After a time, the ship comes up alongside, and the captain orders prep for lashing, whatever the term is. I do know how to sail, I just don't know all the terms. Prep to lash to the raft. And somebody hands Tillman a grappling hook and a rope.
Hey, hopefully I just don't throw up on the raft, that's all.
You look over, and Tillman, you see another Tortle. I need you to do make this either intelligence or history if you're proficient.
Yeah, sounds history.
Yeah.
And you have advantage. Oh,
Alright.
Ooh.
Let's roll
already
again
got a
and see.
dirty 20.
Well, it bounces off the previous roll I had.
Yeah, nice. So you look, and not only do you like recognize which group of turtles she's from, you're like, oh crap, I've met this turtle before.
Whoa.
Is it Tammy?
Who's Tammy again? Or
Tammy. It must be Tammy the Tortle.
she is now Tammy the turtle. And you look over, and she passes you this thing, and she is watching you and your buckets and your misery, and she is absolutely loving every minute of it.
Oh, oh wow.
Well, if he has to throw up, he knows where to aim.
Well. Interesting. So, we meet again.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
You guys know each other?
Don't
Yeah,
tell
man,
me
this
you
is
were
Tammy.
high.
Not high, man. Dehydrated.
Dehydrated.
Oh boy. So, what is going on? Hold on, my voice changer suddenly stopped, and much to Darcy's enjoyment. He loves it when this thing isn't working. Okay.
I was catching up on the podcast, and there's a point when you just speak directly to me about my reaction to your voice changer, and I was like, "Oh, you're right." Like 4 weeks ago.
Well, I find I don't know. Sometimes it's not great, but it'll do. It'll do in a pinch. All right. So
it's great when it's like demonic or a robot or something. But
Tillman. Tammy the turtle looks at you, and she's like,
Do you even remember the last time?
Yeah, I remember it last time.
She
That's
looks
so
a little
convincing.
doubtful. And
Very
she promptly knees you where turtle nuts would be. But the shell takes it. And then she
Not
points
cool, man.
down to the ship.
The captain won't wait all day.
Then go get him.
Throw the thing. Oh God, I have to do everything around here.
So she grabs the grappling hook out of your hand angrily and just expertly. And like she has no care if she clobbers you as she's swinging this grappling hook around. So I'm going to get you to do a quick dexterity saving throw for me. You see it coming if you're that kind of barbarian.
Hold on a sec.
Oh no, you're not barbarian.
Dex.
You're a cleric. My bad. Sorry.
So Dex saving throw?
Yeah, pretend I didn't say anything. Oh, bang! All right, so you do not. Maybe it's the dehydration. Maybe it's the seasickness. Maybe it's that. No, this is definitely the cause of the ringing in the back of your head. You take 4 points of damage as this metal grappling hook clobbers you before you can pull your head down. And you're now just holding onto the railing and just a little bit more vomit, just dry heave. And then she kind of pulls it up and she's like,
Oh, sorry.
and then she chucks the grappling hook down and it loops past the ship and she starts pulling the raft and starts attaching it to the raft and tying it off. Several other sailors are also doing the same thing. At this point, everybody has joined up on the deck, and you can now look down and see what is below. Is there anything you want to do before we go into that?
I would descend to the deck
Okay.
since I was placed in the crow's nest.
It's true. Okay, so just do a quick acrobatics check for me. Or athletics, whichever one you prefer.
I'm gonna do a slow acrobatics check.
Sir, you have an advantage then.
A very careful. I know I'm in my 60s acrobatics check.
That's
And
how I...
still, it's just a 7.
No.
All right. So the good news is you were going slow. So the DC is not very high, but you still didn't meet it. So as you're climbing out of the basket, you're fine. You do the little shunt over to the descending tar-laden ropes, and you start going down, and all of a sudden the tar just gums onto one of your shoes, and so you do like one leg is stuck up way too high, and you're trying to pull it off. You're inadvertently doing the splits. And, like, you swear to God, you feel something twinge in your low back, and you're just like, oh, God. And then after a little while, you kind of manage to free yourself, but it is super awkward. And you don't have a fall, fortunately, but it takes you a really long time. And you see Zim kind of reassessing his decision. And, all right, anything else? Anybody else is going to be doing?
I'm gonna just consult with my new friend Voslo just on kind of like the situation, like what are the terms they're saying, just stuff like that.
Absolutely.
As we
So
get acquainted with each other.
He gives you the basics for nautical terms. He's been doing that, but in this particular moment, he kind of appears to be walking next to you as you stride across the deck, and you hear him saying,
It is nautical law that you are supposed to help those in need, no matter what. Not every captain obeys nautical law.
and so
We'll see if this one does.
Zim, they throw a rope ladder down, and a couple of sailors kind of descend down They do have daggers on their. They check they've got daggers on their hips as they descend down, and you can all see kind of an exchange for a little while down below on the raft. There appears to be a couple of things on the raft. A couple of bags, a bunch of like old piles of coconuts and shells, and it looks like there's kind of a fishing rig and maybe a homemade net at one side, and a series of just super raggedy blankets. And wrapped up in one of these raggedy blankets, you see a young human girl. And after a few seconds, the sailors kind of nod, and one of them stays below and with her, and the other one climbs back up and calls over to the captain. You're all pretty close to where the captain is right now, unless you want to be somewhere else. He's like,
Captain, she appears to be some kind of castaway. She says she was swept overboard and managed to get onto some flotsam. Yeah. Well, bring her aboard, but keep an eye on her.
Zim gives the order to bring her on. After a little while, they bring her up, and they begin kind of sifting through and kind of the remains of the ship, and you can kind of see it's still lashed to the side of things. Is anybody else want to be doing anything?
Yeah, actually, I will ask the captain if I have his permission to actually just do a quick check on the raft to check out the story and see if I can find anything that might help kind of explain what happened.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
So I'm actually going to go down onto the raft and basically investigate it.
Sure thing. So you climb down, and I'm going to get you to do either acrobatics or athletics just to see if anybody else does the splits today.
I am totally going to do acrobatics.
You can start
16.
cheerleading Todd. Aw.
16, no problem. Down the rope ladder you go. It's definitely, the raft is doing one of these next to the ship, so it's a little bit hard to keep your balance on there, but you manage it no problem. A lifetime of being quick on your feet when you need to be comes in handy. So you start doing a quick search around the raft. Go ahead and do an investigation check, please.
I guess one question also, yes, I want to investigate, but I also want to almost, whether I can use my proficiency when it comes to vehicles water, just understand how this was made, because she said it was made out of flotsam.
Sure. Go ahead and do an investigation check, or I guess it would be a survival check. Different DCs.
Okay, I'll do the survival check first.
Do you want to give advantage for having the right tool proficiency?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
That's a common thing from, I think Xanathar's added that.
I will take that advantage.
With a 9, that's not a bad idea.
16 again. 16 again.
Nice. Okay, so you're going through and looking at this, and it does look like it was homemade. But you're not sure this was made by her. You only got a short look at her as you went by, and she looks like she's maybe 100 pounds soaking wet, which she was. And for those up on the deck, you see this just wayfish, like super slender young girl, probably teenager, and just super skinny, like she hasn't eaten well in a while. Not totally starving, but not eaten well in a long time. It looks like, her hair is just matted and twisted, and windblown. She's got little bits of like stuff in her hair still. She definitely got that sunken cheek look, and she's just kind of looking around as though she's in a bit of a daze, and just very, very kind of almost not quite seeing what's going on around her. People are asking her questions. She's just kind of like, Yeah. So it doesn't look like this raft necessarily was made by her, but it does look like it was homemade. Probably she would lack the physical strength to build this.
Really noted. I'll give one last look around, just if there's anything like hidden on the raft, and then I'll head back up.
Sure, do a quick investigation then.
It's a night of 16s for me.
Night of 16. Low in the back of your mind goes,
Oh, what the fuck?
Okay.
and you get this like sinking feeling to like take a step back. Do you
Step back.
listen?
Yes.
Okay. You step back just as
Fall
well.
off the raft. What a good joke.
not off the raft, just towards the bow of it actually. And right at the back, there's this cloth sack, and it just starts like just wiggling a little bit back and forth. The one that you were just about to reach for, and like shivering, twitching around. There is definitely something in it.
It's a puppy. No.
I have my dagger at the ready,
Okay.
and
Oh, what a time for the interweebs.
and
to plot. Oh, there it
is
is.
is the oh, I'm back. Yeah,
There you go.
I'm just gonna let them call out and say that, hey, there's something in this bag.
All right. And what do they find in the bag? What do they
What's in
see
the bag?
in the next
What's
few
in the bag?
seconds?
I suppose the bag wriggles. And after a beat, two little legs pop out the bottom. The bag's still like on top of whatever's in it. And it's just like feet are in the bottom, and it sort of wobbles back and forth, bashes into this like makeshift mast.
All right, I
All
switched
right.
my phone.
Oh, no worries, no worries. All right, so you see in front of you this wriggling thing just pops out of the bag. It's trained circus squirrels. Yes, that's right, Steve. No, it
You
is
missed the bag.
a lizard-like creature standing approximately, a little less than 3 feet? Pretty
2 feet.
slender. And
2 feet.
2 feet? All right. And
Okay.
do you want to describe a little bit about like how you're dressed or any of that?
Yeah, as the this feet things, these like
Oh, oh.
clawed hands come out and drag the bag over ahead, and popping out is as described, this sort of like toothy lizard-headed creature, about 2 feet tall, sort of a grayish, reddish, pinkish sheen to the scales. Flecked with like a few different other colors, like blue and purple and such. And I think you also maybe see like just like the hint of like feathers, almost like a feathered raptor, but like only like 2 or 3 like on either cheek. And they're just like looking around manically with like massive eyes. And if you really, for the non-listeners, for the people who are watching the show,
Ooh.
can you pull up my my character sheet? It's got a picture in it.
Oh, perfect. I will take a look at that.
Other than their, bescaled body,
Aw.
they only have like a ratty net, like a fishing net, sort of like wrapped around their waist, and a like a wooden shield on their back that's like probably waterlogged at this point.
Nice. So you see, those of you who have done some traveling, you probably recognize pretty quickly the general shape is that of a kobold. However, this kobold is fairly unique in coloration and even in somewhat in form that you have seen before. But that is, and if you're watching on the live stream, it is up on the stream right now. So thank you. Always like Darcy doing some visuals. And the art is by Darcy there. So thank you.
Yes, yeah, it is. That wasn't clear. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I'm just gonna warily look, at the kobold up and down, and I'm gonna say, "Do you speak common?"
Oh,
Common.
Hello. Hi.
Hey.
Where did? And I'm like they're looking around, like.
I point up, but I still have the knife ready. Like, the girl's on the ship.
Okay. I'm Dreamy.
Aww.
Dreamy?
Yeah.
Far out.
That's quite a name. Okay, you're not hostile?
Yes.
If you are, I'm gonna have to, that could be a problem.
I'm sleeping.
Okay.
Your boat looks better than mine. Can I come on the big boat?
I'm gonna call up to the captain saying there's another one on the raft. Looks like a kobold named Dreamy.
Does it seem dangerous?
It seems kind of cheerful.
Which could be dangerous.
A cheerful kobold. Bring it up, but put it in irons. Until we have a
Sounds
good
reasonable.
long question.
I'm like, okay.
A pair of manacles get tossed down to you below.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna tell Dreamy, until we can figure this out, you're gonna have to wear these, and as soon as we determine that you're not a threat, we'll let you out, I think.
Yeah, if I can. I don't know if you're holding them yourself. I will take them and look through them, and they're probably pretty big. My wrists are very small.
It looks,
So I'm just
they're more for theater. You could definitely be like,
I just put them. I put my hands.
Yeah.
make them feel better.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, you go up first, and I'll go up after you.
Yeah, I just climb it with my hands.
You just take one hand out because it's too annoying to climb like that. Fit it back in when you get up to the top.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Scamper up the
All right.
the ladder.
You scamper, and this is the biggest ship you've been on in a while, so that's kind of nice.
Oh.
All right, so
I get to the top. I don't know who's closest there. Whoever's closest, I'm just hi, I'm Dreamy.
that's Gex and Tillman. You're kind of equidistant as Tillman's rubbing the back of his head.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
You're tall.
You're short.
Yeah.
My name's Dave. Okay, Dave.
Sounds about right. Where'd you come from?
Right there.
Prior to that.
Sorry?
I said- Where were you exactly when you got onto that raft?
I don't know. I found it, and it was
You didn't make that raft?
I don't think I did. Do you think I did? That would be cool.
Do kobolds have?
Why are you and a teenage girl on a raft in the middle of the water?
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna look at the girl and say, "This is a very, weird pet that you have.
And she looks at you, Steve, Gex, and she looks up at you in that teenage sullen kind of way, and she's like, "Well, yeah."
Where did you buy it?
Where did you buy?
I found it. It was in the water.
Uh-huh. Floating in the water, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay, so here I'll ask you the same question. Where were you when you got onto this raft?
I found it.
Where did you find it?
It was washed up on a tiny island. I think it was that way.
And how did you end up on that island?
There was a storm?
So you had been on a ship, and there was a storm, and the ship became wrecked, and you became on the island.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Anna.
I'm gonna check to see if Anna's lying.
Sure. Roll an insight check with advantage.
Okay.
Should Hilda at this point be also with the group?
Yeah, you're with them. You can join them.
Okay.
Everybody's up on the deck now.
I think Dreamy's cute.
Ooh, 24.
Whew.
Ooh.
Wow.
That girl. Her name is Anna. But I would not believe anything else that she tells you.
That voice only you heard.
Well,
I'm gonna assign to Gex. And I'm just gonna, it's a caution sign that, a sign of that she's lying.
okay.
I'm
Dreamy is taking
hungry.
their shield off their back and holding it above their head to block out the sun.
Oh.
I'll ask her, where were you heading on the ship that became wrecked in the storm that hit the ship that you were on when it got wrecked?
I was with my parents. I think they might be dead now.
You're very good at answering not the question I asked. I don't know if you noticed that.
I'm good
sad
at a
that
lot
your
of
parents
things.
died. I believe that too. Where were you going with your parents who are now dead?
Some city. My father got work. He was
Yeah.
bringing us there.
Do you remember the name of the city?
I think it started with a T. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember everything. What are you gonna do to me?
Hey, look, we'll get you fed. You've been on the water a long time. Maybe with some food and water, you can get a good rest and things will come back. And I'm just trying to kind of calm her down and.
Do a persuasion check or deception, depending on which way you want to take that.
You know what? It is genuine. It is persuasion, though I don't trust her. So I will do.
Good luck.
Oh.
At 12.
Okay. She kind of looks at you with that blank, almost seeing through you stare. And you just see her kind of do like, it's the first kind of positive emotion she's displayed, as she gets this kind of crooked little half grin. That'd be nice. Thank you.
Yeah, you've been standing on the raft in the sunny day. You're going to be a little bit sun-dazed.
I like your hair. And she reaches over and she touches your red hair. But like, in a way that, you ever had like a really little kid grab your hair and like run?
Oh no.
She doesn't quite do that, but she clearly doesn't really, she's not used to stopping herself, so she just kind of grabs it and tugs a little harder than would normally be acceptable, and she kind of pulls you a little closer, and she just kind of twirls her fingers in your hair.
Okay. Yeah, I use ow. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You can touch. I think red hair is a little bit maybe not common from where you are.
No.
Maybe you can give her a once over, like she's, if she needs any medical attention or.
Yeah. Using whatever.
Go ahead and
knowledge
roll
I
medicine. You trained for this. At least, 101.
Presumably, you have to like pull supplies out of your backpack. Have to like set down your bag and start taking things out of it. Dreamy
You
starts
get
like
a
sticking their
stethoscope.
snout in it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, what's in here? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Dreamy's digging in.
And then I'm like trying to use like another hand. Okay.
Dreamy,
that's fine,
you find a
that's fine.
thermometer. It's just got mercury in it.
I rolled a 19. Dirty
Wow.
19.
Okay. All right, Hilda. So after a few seconds, you look her over, and besides being kind of wayfish, and cold to the touch, being so exposed to the elements for so long, she seems relatively healthy. She has no visible wounds or anything. In fact, she seems to be in pretty good health, all things considered.
Physically, like good health.
Yeah, physically, she seems to be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Okay. Well, I still recommend some proper rest.
All right. Well, we'll get her down below. Secure the raft. We'll tear it apart for materials or scrap anything that's not worth it. Crew, carry on previous setting. Or heading.
Assigned to Gex, keep an eye on her.
All right.
Is she still grabbing my hair? Is she like
Yes.
taking a chunk?
She's basically dragging you with her as she's being escorted down by a sailor towards the kitchen, the galley, and then presumably towards a bunk or at least a crate to sit on. Dreamy, they've kind of forgotten you, and you. Can I get you to do a quick dexterity check?
Sure. What am I dexterity for? Flat dexterity.
Woo,
Is
that's
6.
6. That's pretty low. So
Pretty low. Rolled a 4.
you've got the thermometer in your mouth like a cigar, and you've got your head you're just wrapped halfway in bandages at this point, from the medicine kit that she left on the deck, and she's been dragged away. So you now have a medicine kit, and you're busy fashioning some clothes out of the
I think I
various.
try and like climb into and like cuddle in because it seems like it's got some soft stuff in there.
Absolutely, it's a tight fit.
Like,
It's
kobolds
a
are pretty
dwarf's
tiny,
shoulder
right?
bag.
Like I'm 2 foot tall, but I'm also like very small. I'm like 25 pounds or something total.
Yeah, you're super skinny. So you can
Yeah.
you
Alright,
can't quite fit
doggo.
all the way in,
like a
but you
dog.
could get in halfway, like a cat in a box, and you're just like,
Yeah!
this is nice.
Yeah.
And you're just
sitting
sitting
in a
on the deck. And
Okay.
the
Oh
ship
my God,
begins
I
to
did it, John.
carry on. All right. Down below, they feed the girl. She eats pretty well, like pretty consistently, and no manners whatsoever. Just like just gorging herself, and guzzling down, water. Even if it's a little bit brackish, she's just like. Who all goes down with her besides Hilda?
I'll go down with her, keep an eye on
Yeah,
her.
yeah, same.
I can't keep anything down, but I'll go in.
All right, back up on the deck. The turtle, Tammy the turtle, looks down after a little while and spots Dreamy. She's like, "Oh, don't cause any trouble." And you're settling down to a nice nap and a sunbeam. It's nice to get fresh air. You've been stuck in that sack for a while.
I do probably have the shield pulled over me though, because again, kobolds don't really like to be in direct sunlight.
That's fair. But you got the little flap
weird,
open, your
but
head's
that's
kind of
true.
poking through.
It's
All
more
right.
like cave lizards than sun bathing lizards. I don't know how that works, but that's the rules.
Well, you in particular were actually more of a Twilight lizard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So the ship carries on. The day goes on. It's all pretty standard and dull for the next little while. The captain does at one point call your kind of crew together, and you extricate yourself from the girl there, Hilda. And although she does get several good strands in her hand, like pulled out.
Okay, you keep those. Yeah.
And she's busy twisting them and like almost making a little friendship bracelet out of the various strands. And her fingers kind of work nimbly, but she doesn't even look at them. It's kind of like she's just busy weaving them, just kind of staring off at the wall. The captain calls the rest of you over. He's like, "All right, well, I know that. But let's talk in my cabin." So he calls you down. Dreamy, you're still up on the deck though. And Tammy, the turtle, she actually speaks to you a little bit in Draconic at one point, which I think you can speak.
Oh, to me? Yeah.
Yeah. So she chats with you and so on. So if Tillman, at one point, Tillman, you are up on the deck just chucking your guts out again, and you see Tammy talking to Dreamy, so you can overhear some of their conversation. Do you speak Draconic?
I do not.
Okay, so most of it's in Draconic, but you get the idea that she's asked Dreamy a bunch of questions, and she seems pretty satisfied with this. You keep getting distracted by your lunch coming up and trying to place, like, why do you know Tammy? Like, actually, I'm curious, Carl. We're going to come back to you, and I want you to tell us why you and Tammy know each other. Is that fair?
It's amazing. Your role is...
Right.
I remember that I know you, but I don't remember why.
He's high a lot.
Yeah.
In
I
my
know,
defense.
It's just fun because it was like a 20 successful check, and that's what you get. You get the do know that you know them, but you still don't know why. It's perfect.
Well, we're about
It's
to
great.
find out. But first, the captain calls the rest of you together and says, in his cabin, "Well, I know that Calron wants you to get to the island, and he didn't tell me very much, but he did say that you would be good in a fight if anything came up. I'm kind of expecting trouble. I thought that might be it, but I trust that you'll be okay to back my crew."
Yeah.
Sure thing, Captain Rim.
Zim.
Captain Zim.
Zim.
Sorry. Yeah, we
Aye,
can
aye,
handle ourselves in
Captain.
a fight.
Great. What about, I know some of you have said you've been able to handle yourselves. I can assign you to a particular crew member if you want. They can show you how to do some of the tasks on the ship. I think it might be a good idea if you know the basics.
I actually know a little bit, so I can help on the ship.
Good. All right. So at this point, everybody who wants to choose how to train in a role on the ship, tell me what role you want. So a couple of the options. This is, by the way, from the Unearthed Arcana. At least that's where I was looking at it. So there's a few. You can basically be like a navigator type in training. And I believe, Tillman, did you already have some navigator experience or no?
Nope.
Okay.
Not navigational.
All right. So there's navigating. There's like repair, which is like carpentry. There's just general rigging. That's not really in there, but understanding the rigging and the ropes and how to set the sails. There's going to be the basically training on the gunning. So there are a handful of cannons, and I mean cannon. There's a couple of ballista, and there's also a couple of crude cannons on the ship. So if anybody wants to train as a gunner, and we could have more than one of these. And I know I'm not using all the official terms. You could also train to be basically kind of not first mate, but under the first mate as a kind of commander type. That if
Second mate?
Second mate, which is basically the captain's track. So you would be like the commander if everyone else dies. So we'd call that the command track. So you can kind of choose and make suggestions.
Is there a surgeon's assistant or a surgeon?
Ooh, absolutely. A ship surgeon would be very helpful. In fact, the guy they have, you get sent down, and the good thing is this ship surgeon gets their own cabin. It's also got the bunk for when he needs to, saw off somebody's leg or whatever. But it does mean that he gets to sleep in his own little cabin. And you, as the ship surgeon junior, I don't know, in training,
Physician's assistant.
Yeah, you would be able to have access to that cabin whenever you want. And you can, the captain lets you know where it is and kind of sends you on your way down. And you open this rickety old door, and the wafting smell of like really strong aesthetic grade alcohol wafts over you as you open there, and you see several casks of this thing, and one of them is tapped, and you see this super like really drunk guy like passed out leaning against one of these casks, half like an old mug in his hand, a metal mug kind of chipped just in one hand, and he's just passed out, having drunk his own anesthetic and cleaning agent until he blacked out. So he's the ship surgeon, and he's probably like a biscuit over 20.
Oh.
And he's dressed with like a lot fancier than anyone else in the crew, but like fancier from like a dress kind of outfit from like 3 weeks ago, and it hasn't been changed. So that's kind of the vibe he's giving off.
Maybe I should go get Hilda. She didn't pass med school, but she'd probably do better than this guy.
All right, so
I got at least a couple ticks on my medical check.
Absolutely. So, Hilda, just a quick question. We've had the ship of reunion going on already with Tammy the Tortle. What are the odds you know this person? You can decide.
Could they have possibly? Perhaps I will recognize it's like.
I mean, they are young, and you.
And I am young.
You are young, and okay.
All young people know each other, right?
Exactly. It's like all dwarves know each other. It just happens. That is, ageist and dwarfist. But you open he wasn't in your class per se, but you do remember, because you had to go to different med schools. You didn't just pick the first one. So, like, you did the tours, and your parents tried to talk you. You had the same conversation with them every single time, on every single like city you went to. Your dad was always like, they've got a minor in smithing. You could have a backup plan. And so you would go from city to like wherever they would train these surgeons. And so you didn't see him there, but you did recognize him as a senior, kind of one of the people at one of the schools that you've been to. So you remember vaguely seeing him before. And by the way, his name is Bentham.
Bentham.
You found that from the captain. You open the door and you're like, oh, I think I've seen this jerk.
The name sounded familiar, but now that I see you kind of passed out, reminds me. Reminds me of certain senior moments.
Hey. He went to the party school. It wasn't a great med school. Even you were like, no, and your dad's like, oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Your dad,
But they got
the
a
whole
great
trip home,
smithing
your dad's
program.
like, yes, she didn't like that one.
Awesome.
All right. So, you and so Hilda and Tillman are gonna be the surgeon track.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with navigation.
All right. Sir,
Yeah.
sure.
Same here.
So Nav is gonna be Gex and you're both gonna double down on Nav? Or is one of you gonna go command track or gunner or repair? Or
Oh, I don't know. No one else is doing command. I'll go that way, actually. It could help to be sort of near people in command, I suppose.
sure. All right. So Gex, and the commander does a little bit of everything. In fact, they have to be able to step into any of the roles if they need to. And when you gather pretty quickly that how it works is you get a certain amount of bonuses that you can give out to others as like a ship pool that you can then all roll. If depending on how successful you are in yours, you can actually allocate different bonuses to others to accomplish their tasks. That's how command kind of works.
Okay.
And Rook, you would go navigator then.
Yeah.
All right. And now, Dreamy, is there? You technically may already know this stuff, or you can pick it up as well. Mostly from Tammy the Tortle. She kind of takes you under her wing. And what do you want to learn how to do?
I mean, I figure every ship has to have a cook, right?
This is true.
That seems kind of my speed.
Nice. All right. So, Tammy is going to be the cook. Actually, no. Tammy is a navigator, so Tammy's going to be working
wouldn't be the cook, but
with
she could
Rook.
introduce me.
But she introduced you to the cook. Who is this?
You're gonna be on this boat? Gotta learn to do something here. Saddle you with the cook. And the cook's like, really? Really?
Yeah, the cook's like,
This?
do I cook it?
This? Is this
You start
supplies?
peeling potatoes basically to save your life, so you don't end up in the pot.
Oh yeah, I got a knife. I had a knife the whole time.
Yep.
It's just a self-preparing meal. Haven't you heard of those?
That's what those box meal kits are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keeps putting you in the one corner and be like, I'll cook you later. And you're just like, boop, boop, boop. It's like, there's all these potatoes and carrots all of a sudden. You're like, that's a lot of fresh food for a ship. But anyway, you're pretty early out of port. Okay, so you all have your basic roles that you're picking up, right? Technically, Hilda, did you want to do surgeon as well or something else? That's the only one we've doubled down on. I mean, totally fine if you want to, or Tillman. I'm just saying, if you wanted to spread it, or we can have 2 ship surgeons.
Well, I can leave it. I can leave it in Gex's capable hands. Because I was sort of thinking about. Wait, was repairs already taken?
No, nobody chose that one.
Yeah, I figure, with the family background too.
That's
that
true.
could also-
Make your
Oh.
dad proud.
Tried fixing bodies, didn't work out so well. Let's try fixing objects.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason why I'm not at mid school.
Oh no.
oh.
I keep getting that song in my head every time you were talking to this. Beauty school dropout.
I mean, I imagine you
Medic school
maybe you already
dropout.
talked about this on the show already, but I imagine it's like, oh, well, how do I fix this person based on medicine? You cut their leg off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how. You just don't really want to. That-
It's like I only had maybe a semester, half a semester. the
Yeah.
morgue stalkers.
You know most of the body parts and which ones most of the time people want to keep. It's probably where you're at right now. All right. So with that, I'm gonna get everybody to do. I'm gonna get you to do an intelligence check to see how quickly you can pick up your new task.
Oh.
And the
Oh,
kobold
no.
giggles.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh
Oh,
no.
Oh,
Those
no.
rolls are amazing. Wow.
For those listening at home, that is a 5 from Dave Tillman, a
Wow.
4 from Dreamy the Kobold, 21 from Gex, and then another 4.
Well, actually, I am gonna use my ability, one of my, because I get 2, so
Yeah.
knowledge from a past life.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be like, my good buddy Vossel is gonna give me a little bit of a helping hand, and I'll just modify that a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, just a bunch
9.
of fingers.
9.
Oh,
Okay.
Not so terrible.
Not quite so terrible. That's all right.
See? This is why I'm
Wow.
not a surgeon.
All right. So, sorry, I was giggling too much. So let's run down the list, shall we? Dreamy, the kobold, got a 4.
4. A 4.
You probably would do better if you were the meal. It's like that movie Ratatouille would have actually been with a rat steering somebody.
Right.
Yeah. All right. How did you do there, Hilda?
4.
Oh.
I brought shame upon my family's name.
And this is
Shame
why
on you.
you
Shame on your
try
family,
and
your cow.
everything just starts breaking and you just losing your tools. It's bad. Like you literally lose an entire set of tools of the master carpenter on the ship. You're just like, you don't know where they went. You were pretty sure you didn't lose them overboard, but you have no real idea where that went, and that does not make them very happy with you. Yeah, it's like that moment with Mr. Sprigg and the cadavers all over again. It's bad. That is now in your backstory, apparently. Somebody named Mr. Sprigg and something to do with cadavers. All right. Meanwhile, who else we got here? Gex. Well, you rolled pretty good. How'd you do?
21.
21. All right, so you follow the captain around. You get a good idea of like who to talk to get what done, and it all comes together pretty nicely for you. So very quickly, you're effectively efficient now in water vehicles. Like proficient, I should say. All right. That
Okay.
Okay. And Rook, did we do yours already?
No, I'm a 9 now. The little help.
Okay, a little better than the 4. So you got a 9 total. So you're getting the basics of it, but it's gonna take you a lot of time to figure it. Like, you get, like, Voslo in your ears, like,
No, look, you take the slide rule. Oh god. Tasvrellians. Okay. Okay. You see this? This is called a compass. It points north. And on the sides, those are the degrees. No, that is... Oh, put that down.
so
I thought I was supposed to pick it. Lock.
You're going to need to put that back together. Don't lose the magnet.
But you are getting there. You are
getting
definitely
there slowly.
getting there. You're the basics. Tammy the Tortle, who is their ship navigator, she finds out that you're kind of friends with Tillman, and so there's a frosty distance between the two of you. But generally speaking, she's pretty easygoing, and she works with you pretty well, and she's fairly patient with you. The moment Tillman comes into view, though, nuh-uh. It's not great. All right. So, meanwhile, did I miss anybody, or is that everybody? Oh, Tillman.
Just Tillman.
Tillman, how did you do?
As well as the rest of us.
Oh, he's muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.
Oh, sorry about that. I was reading on, and
I wanted to hear it.
okay.
All right, Tillman,
So-
how'd you do?
So with the role that Tillman had, he saw the ship surgeon nowhere near capable of teaching him. So he takes a quarter pint of the same thing and just proceeds to try and learn by himself.
Do as the surgeon does, and it goes about as well as is expected.
Like, not enough to get like pissed drunk, but enough to like not pay attention to what's around
Just
him.
to like cool the nerves a little bit.
Does the surgeon wake up and you just make a new drinking buddy? Is that it? Or they stay out the whole time?
You move him back to a bunk, but he's pretty solidly out for most of the time. Like, he comes to every once in a while and points you, which just actually kind of explains why you only got a 5, is no one was helping you. Like, no one. And so, yeah, you kind of had to learn that all by your lonesome. All right.
All right.
And that brings us around, and that's everybody. So, a sailing crew, you are not. But, you know, if there's trouble, you probably know which end to stick into the enemy. All right. So one of you got a new proficiency. Everybody else, no. Sorry. And we're just going to cut over to Tillman. So the taste of that alcohol, it's like denatured, just straight up like alcohol. It's not even like whiskey or anything. It's just like disinfectant. And it's not going to make you go blind, but it is nasty. But, you know, the second cup in, and it starts to feel a little better. So let me just ask you, Tillman, does this jog your memory? And if so, what do you know?
In terms of like the medical side, or the...
I was actually thinking about Tammy, or
Okay,
if you
good,
don't want to
good,
think
good.
about
All right.
her, you
No,
could
no.
worry about it later.
So Dave has a chance to recollect on events, you know, the fact that he met Tammy, the same attitude. It goes back to when they were back home. Two families knew each other. Ours was more the humble sort, and Tammy's, well, a bit more on the entitled front. And as youngsters, we were encouraged to get to know each other, and with the prospects of possibly intermingling both families or by contract. So the fling did not last or end in a spectacular way. So, or in a very good way. So yeah, I guess she still holds resentment.
Yep.
All right. She's definitely holding on to some resentment, and that's what you recall from your time alone in your wandering around, poking at some of the instruments and implements in the ship's surgeon's quarters. All right.
I wonder what this one does.
I'm gonna ask one of you to please. So that's gonna be the first couple of days, which you get for free, and it's several day journey. So I'm gonna ask one of you, a volunteer, to please roll a D100 for me, and we will see how the next day shakes out.
Who would like to roll?
I have my little table that I made. Look, I made something.
There, I'll roll it.
Very cool.
Awesome.
I think probably Dreamy keeps like falling asleep, like in a bag of potatoes. But then, like at night, is like very active, right? Like
That's
that
fair.
sort of nocturnal headspace. Or probably more like, what's the other one? What are cats like? Dining or something? I can't remember what it's called.
They just nap whenever the hell they want.
Well, it's the dawn and dusk is when they're most active, right?
And that would make sense that you would be too.
Yeah, but I think I'm also like more active at night than in the day.
That's fair.
The light issue. Yeah.
All right, so
I'll probably come out on deck at night.
98. And can I get somebody else to roll 2d12s for me?
Yep. 2 of the D12s. 8 and 11.
Add 'em up. I forgot to.
19.
19. All right. So it's the following day. Go. Oh, and do one last thing for me. I'm gonna get you to roll a D8. Somebody else.
I got a D8 here. Oh wait, this is not a D8. This is a D8. It's an 8.
All right. Okay. So.
This is not an artery. This is an artery.
The following day, so the crew has said it's one of those gray, rainy days, and the wind is just driving it sideways. Something blew in overnight, and so most of the day has just been up and down and up and down.
Oh dear God!
Tillman is, it's not wonderful. Good thing you've got your own cabin with a little window. You can pour the thing out, so you can avoid the top deck. So, as you're going, the weather is not wonderful. It's not quite a full-on, like, terrifying storm or anything, but it is pretty rough weather. And after quite a while, this one crew member comes running down. You all happen to be settling down for a meal around 7 o'clock, and 7 or just almost towards 8. And a crew member comes in and says, "Hey, quick, the captain wants you," and motions towards the captain up by the tiller, not the Tillman, the tiller.
Is he at like all of us or just one of us?
Gex, actually, you're already there, and the captain has called everybody else except Dreamy. Sorry, he's kind of forgotten you're on board.
That's fair. Speaking of people that we're forgetting, Anna been this whole time?
Oh, now most of the time she's been sitting in the galley, just kind of watching, and most of the crew have gone about their business and just kind of ignore that she's there.
I actually keep an eye on her though. Like maybe that's one reason why I'm not navigating so well. Like I don't trust her.
Sure.
necessarily. Like, I know that there's something hidden. If
Sure.
Either she's hiding it
Do you
knowingly
do it
or
from a
not
distance,
knowingly.
or do you try to talk with her a little bit?
A little bit of both. Like, I'll chat with her now and then, just to, as opposed to how Gex was kind of, I don't want to say interrogating, but like trying to get answers out of her. I just kind of more ease into just, chatting where a little bit where I'm from, idly, and but not all the time. And then once in a while, I'll be keeping an eye on her from a distance.
So I need you to do a persuasion check for me.
Okay.
You can do this with advantage. You find whatever life he led before, but Lo seems to know just what to ask.
22.
You can ask her about her family. Ask her about her mother.
22. Nice.
You know
All right,
what?
so
I'm actually even gonna add knowledge from a past life, since Lo is helping me.
Sure.
Something to do. So I'm just gonna add it on. 28.
28. Holy
28.
crap. So after a while, she's sitting there chatting with you. Her answers are mostly monosyllabic. Yes, no, maybe. But after a while, she kind of looks over at you. And there's been crew cycling through. Dreamy's kind of banging pots and pans in the back a little bit at one point.
I do have an instrument proficiency, but I didn't choose what instrument it was. So
Hey,
it's drums now.
Nice. And the cook, actually, go ahead and roll a performance check for me. That'll determine how the cook
I don't
treats you.
have performance. I just have instrument.
Well, technically you're proficient, so you can count it as, I guess, Dex or Charisma.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, that's a 16. So you actually
And that's
have a
with
pretty
proficiency.
darn good rhythm. And the cook, initially, when you first started, threw an old onion at you, and you had to duck out of the way to go and catch it and nibble on it. But after a while, the cook's just kind of tapping his foot. Do that one again. And so you've actually kind of been keeping the cook entertained, the rest of the crew. So you guys, so Rook, you can hear Dreamy banging away back there, just kind of around the corner. But at this particular moment, it's actually quiet. There are very few. There's no other crew in the room with you and this girl, Anna. And she kind of looks around, and then looks you right in the eye and drops her voice to a low whisper, and her register drops as her voice drops. You know how most people, when they whisper, it gets all high. But actually her pitch goes the other way. And so when she talks to you in this whisper, it drops like, all right, let's cut the shit. Why are you here? You kind of give a quiet and
I'm quietly just looking at her like, whoa.
And her eyes flicker around, and then she looks back at you and goes, I'm not the only one who's not what they appear.
I missed that last part, but I'm sure it was good.
And that, and the reason you miss it is that really high pitch whistle, like buzzing that you had in your head, almost causes you to black out again for a second, and you kind of. That was weird.
Oh.
And for a second, you're back in that little tiny, window. What do they call that in film when they cut off the top and the bottom? Anybody?
Maybe like a panoramic view or something?
Like really tight letterbox view for a second. And you see a small lantern flickering off to your right, and you see a shadow move by a doorway. And you can hear this creaking. And it's this of metal plates just shifting. And just tightening. And then you're back. And this little girl is looking at you, and her eyes are pitch black. All of them. The whole thing.
All of her eyes?
All of her eyes.
I'm just gonna look at.
Her pupils have opened to the point where there is no white, no anything else. Just pitch black.
Thought there was more to you. What do you want?
I asked you first.
I'm here on a trip. Like a little vacation.
Me too. I'm leaving my home. And I'm finding a new one. And I don't recommend you get in the way. Understand?
Yeah, I think I read you. As long as you don't cross my path, I don't cross your path, we can be on our merry way. But if you threaten me and my friends, low voice or high voice, we're gonna have a problem.
I suppose that's fair. It's nice to meet new people. Mother said I would. That is good for you. Maybe we could even be friends.
Well, we'll see.
Just about then, one Gex up on the up by the tiller. The call comes in that they've spotted a ship. It's about a mile back and closing, pretty quick. White sails, sailing against the wind.
Possibly of concern.
Wow.
And it's closing. Yep.
We'll notify the captain.
He's in his
And,
quarters right now. You go on down. You pass the galley. You see the others. And you see everybody as you go by.
Yeah. Say there seems to be a ship off the stern, which is gaining on us. Sailing against the wind. White sailed.
Wait. White sails?
That's correct.
You know, like those ships.
Give the order. Lower sails. Prepare to be boarded.
Who are these people? You seem to know them.
If they're who I think they are, we will not want to give them any reason to.
Who do you think they are? Inform me. Could be helpful.
Let me go check. Let me verify.
Let's go.
So the two of you go up, and he spends quite a while looking through a spyglass, and then he confirms. Yeah. All right. It's rare, but these waters, although home to the spines, There are occasional tower patrols. I think they're with the mage towers.
Would you like me to confirm it with perchance an extreme close-up view?
Can you do it without bothering anyone?
Would a bird bother anyone?
No.
Then I will send a bird. I'm going to cast Find Familiar.
All right. Well, it's already you summon it, and
Yeah.
Flying down from one of the perches above on the boom, this bird comes and alights on your shoulder, and you kind of pat foreheads together for a second. What kind of bird?
It's going to be a fish eagle.
Nice. So this is no small freaking bird. It's like
no small dude. So,
yeah, it's true.
gonna
So
be
it's all
very
proportionate.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
My intent is to send it over there, but also I can essentially warg it, like see through its eyes.
Absolutely. So
So-
your eagle flies off, and you close your eyes, steady yourself by the rail of the ship there, and you close your eyes, and your ears go deaf, and your eyes go blind, and a second later, you're seeing the bird's eye view as it approaches the ship. And sure enough, as you're going closer, you see the flag. Do a perception check for me with advantage.
Oh, the high was a nat 20.
Damn.
Plus perception.
Wow.
+1, so 20.
21 though. Damn. So you do a pretty high level flyover, but your eagle eyes see. And you see a white flag, sure enough, with the tower. At the bottom of it is in mist, and then the tower sticks up above, and it comes to there's a slight twist to it, like it's been corkscrewed, and the top of it, you see flying a white flag, and this is the symbol of the mage towers. At least this particular version is probably like the heraldry of the local mage tower that is near near these waters somewhere. Now the annoying thing about mage towers is they tend to, and the islands they inhabit, they tend to move. And so their patrols are usually pretty nearby their territory. And as you go past the ship, it's skimming along, but it's not fully sunk into the water. It's almost like it's almost like
Hydrofoil.
yeah, it's almost like a hydrofoil over top. There's part of it, it's making some waves. So some of it's under the water, but just more like a touching of the water. And the rest of it is just... And the sails have this weird kind of shape to them, as though they're being pulled upwards more than they're being pulled along. And sure enough, the wind is almost directly on their bow, and they are sailing full speed and full sail forward against it. You can see these figures, just standard sailors for the most part, but up near the, because you got a nat 20, you can see right up near the tiller on their ship, you can see a handful of robed individuals. Most of them white robes. There is a burgundy, not a burgundy, sorry. There's white, there's blue, a greenish tint. Most of them are white, but then their accentry denotes a different color.
I'm gonna kind of like be relating this verbally to the captain as I'm seeing it.
And also, Tammy's nearby as the navigator. She's been called up. And you kind of pop in and out a little bit. You can overhear the captain and Tammy and a couple of the others just discussing whether they're going to try to run or whether they're going to try to give in and let them come and take a look. So as a cast, what would you like to do? What would you like to sway this?
Well, it's run or fight,
Do you
or
have
submit.
bad interactions with the mage's tower?
Does it have to be
history?
right? Does it
They're
have
one
to
of
be
a
right?
one of the factions.
Right. I was just like, do you have history to make you think that they'd be aggressive?
Not necessarily. Like, I guess the question is, are they trying to overtake us and attack us, or do they want to parlay?
Well, after a little while, most ships at this distance would use flags to indicate whether they want to parlay or whether they like their intentions could be done by signal flags at this distance.
Would I have learned that in my captain
You
command
would've,
training?
yeah.
On it? So what does the flag indicate to me?
They're not running a flag. And that's one of the things that's causing the captain a little bit of problem. He's like, what flag should we put up? And he initially like put out the inquiry flag, and then that didn't really work. No response. And at this point he's like, should we stop or should we try to run? I mean, I've never heard of a ship being able to outrun a mage. They're very rare.
I have several thoughts on that. I mean, it's harder to get going from a standstill than it is from already being in motion. I say we turn our, we put the wind at our back and let them come alongside us at speed. If they want to yell at us across a span of water while we're at speed, then we've got momentum in order to make a turn or attack if we need to. Whereas if we're sitting still, we're sitting still. There's no advantage to that whatsoever.
That's
They may
that's
just
wise.
be heading in the same direction, and if and at the very least, that's what we can say we thought.
That seems like wise counsel. Anyone else?
I agree.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think, though, that if they start to do anything, we would give them a flag of warning to be off, right? That we'll
Right.
defend ourselves if they attack.
That's fair. I'll have them.
I mean, that's one option, and I don't think that's a bad option necessarily, but I would also float the idea of following suit and just raising no flags.
All right. So he doesn't raise it yet, but he gets it ready. And after a while, it's not very long actually. It should have taken a lot longer for that thing to catch up. And boom, they're pretty much right up beside. Yeah, absolutely. I see that. Yeah. So as you guys are kind of watching, and any other preparing you may want to do, you can think about that.
I guess I ready. I throw down whatever hammer they've given me since I've lost this other set of tools, and I'm like,
Into the
okay,
ocean.
finally! And I like strap on my hand axes.
Yeah,
and
you
my
get
war
your
helmet.
armor back on. Feel more
Just like,
comfortable already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
I'm
do
gonna-
a gearing montage.
Yeah, I think we're all gearing montaging it, but I will actually check on Anna, and I'll say, I'll let her inform her, and actually in a questioning way, wondering, is it she that they're after?
Hmm.
You're
Not going to turn me over, are you?
I'm not a friend of them, as long as you're not meaning us any harm. But if you're the one they're after, you should hide.
Do an insight check with advantage.
All right.
It's a good
first
thing you have
one
advantage.
sucked.
That's a
Yeah.
7. Ooh.
21.
Okay. This is the first time you've seen her display anything that looks like fear. Her eyes, although now they've returned from their pitch black state, have a little sheen of water pooling at the bottom. And she looks up at you and says,
Mother always
told me that I should stay Stay away from the robed ones. They've hunted my family. Please don't let them take me. If you do, my family, my mothers, they can pay a debt. Help me. Please. And
Okay.
She blinks
I'm not
away
a
her
friend.
tears, and you realize this being doesn't blink very often. You're suddenly more aware when she is busy wiping a tear away. With these,
I'll take you up on that. I'm not a friend of the Mage Towers. They're one of the reasons why I don't have parents. So you stay scarce, and yeah, we'll make sure they don't take you.
Thank you. Thank you. All
I
right.
kind of get I twirl the dagger, and I just start getting ready.
Nice. All right. So, she's gonna try to hide. Anybody want to give her some help in hiding?
I think I will be helping her to find a safe place to hide, since I'm very good at it myself.
All right. So she gets to roll with advantage.
You should hide in a bag of potatoes.
Dreamy suggests that. And you're in the galley, so like you've overheard all of this, and no one else seems to have noticed that you've heard this. That's
hide
it.
in a bag of potatoes. Comfy.
Round.
All right. Well, the first one's good.
And she looks at you, Dreamy, and she's like, "Get back in the sack."
Safer in the sack.
And you do. All right, so the 18, and then that's pretty good for her. All right, so she's tucked away. You actually hide her underneath the bunk of the sleeping drunk in the ship surgeon's room.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be good because the alcohol will also hide any scent and all that
Nice.
stuff. Awesome.
Nice. All right, so the white ship sails along about 100 feet off of your starboard bow after a short time, and you're waiting for those flags, and none come. And just when the tension is building,
We take a break.
we take a break. Exactly. All right, so we're going to take a quick little break and come back to see what kind of high seas hijinks we get up to. Thanks, everybody. Oh, that's not the button. Where's the... I don't even know. There it is. That's the break button. You find yourselves right next to... Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the ship is 100 feet to your right, to your starboard bow. It's strange. It's moving not with the rest of the waves. So you guys will be rocking one way, and it's very extremely smooth the other way. And you find your... Audio cut out for a second there. So you find yourselves just kind of nervously looking out at this strange, otherworldly vessel, and but the people crawling around on the top of it do appear to be, people. Like there is crew. They're not that different from your own crew. As you look out and you take stock, you can see it's not as big a crew as the one you have. You think it's a slightly smaller ship than this trading kind of all-purpose ship that you're on. The one they're in seems to be built for speed, some kind of patrol. And it appears you can make out at a glance a good 8, maybe 10 people up on the deck, so various crew, still doing some of the similar things that you guys are doing. But the ship itself seems to be in its own little bubble of physics, so it's not really behaving the way that a regular ship is. You see also the robed figures. There's 3 of them, kind of standing there towards the back, and you can make them out pretty clearly at this distance. All right. What do you want to do?
I know Dreamy's definitely, like, snuck out of the kitchen and, like, just curiosity driven. Like, as soon as Anna was whisked away to the surgeon's office or quarters or whatever, they were very, like, I gotta see what this is, right? So they've like snuck out and are just like poking around the deck trying to see what's going on, but not like, you know, getting any much attention. Just trying to, like, you know, be aware, be present.
They got out of the sack, the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as Anna left, you felt safe to come out of the sack again.
Yeah. I was like, curiosity has overwhelmed me.
I'm kind of picturing you less as a kobold and more as a cat. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Meanwhile, how is everybody else getting ready?
Oh, I'm already got my, like,
Oh yeah,
gearing
you're
up
plated.
montage.
Oh,
Yeah,
actually, I think you
I'm
only have
done.
chainmail, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just having my eagle circle at a safe distance beyond arrow shot because he's got the eyeballs of an eagle.
Absolutely.
Just to see anything and everything I can see from every angle.
Do a perception check for me with advantage, please. And you're right up there next to the captain. Most of you have made your way to the top deck, unless you say otherwise.
Yep.
18.
All
You
right.
see seagulls?
You definitely do see the seagulls, and your eagle kind of wants to go for lunch. Actually, you see several birds, and they're kind of... One of them is definitely not a seagull. And also seagulls at this distance, there are some, but there's not a ton of them. But this bird stands out. It's a bright white raven flying in the sky, very close to the ship. And then it starts to buzz past your ship and circle over your ship as well. That's right. We got ourselves some bird-on-bird action. Yeah!
Yeah, it's very clear they're spying on us with a familiar in bird form.
How dare they?
I suppose turnabout's fair play.
I'm trying to not be so visible. I'm trying to get a good spot where if I need to that'd be good to kind of pick off people with my short bow.
Sure.
And yeah.
All right, I will jump back to that one in just one sec. So you guys will be up on the top deck then, probably. So I'm just gonna drag you over to that, just in case we need the visual. We may not.
Just in case.
From us right now.
It's pretty close. It's only about 100 feet away right now. Like, which is on water is just buzzing you basically. So Gex is up near the tiller right now. Hilda's kind of down below. Zim is up next. Captain Zim is close to there. Rook, you're kind of staying near like the whatever they want to. What's that called? Back cabin. The aft castle, I think it's called. Yeah. And where do you want to be, Tillman?
Let me see. Where am I there?
It's starting to get later on in the evening, by the way. It's almost 8 o'clock at this point.
I'll probably
and the
go
sun
over
is just on the edge of the horizon. Like, it's the golden hour. Nice. So you're halfway up the stairs there. And Hilda, you're just kind of braced in the middle at the moment.
Yeah.
All right, am I missing anybody? Oh, we're going to need Darcy to throw a mini down here.
Oh. Is this the boat?
Yep.
I'm not looking at that screen. What?
Oh, don't worry about it. I can control. You're going to be hanging out near Rook for now, because he was in the galley before.
We're all looking at a different Roll20 page, right?
No, the balance. You just have to scroll down to the.
Oh, I screwed you all up.
Oh.
There, I'll drag you back. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see the different
yeah.
layers, sir. Thank you.
And before I kind of like we're setting a position, I am going to mention to Hilda, you have that cloak. If we need to, you and I could go over there and close ranks. Just keep that in mind.
Sounds good.
All right. It's about this time that both Gex and Captain Zim hear this voice in their head. No one else hears it. You are hereby commanded to drop sail. The Mage Tower of Taha. You are in our sovereign territory.
Sorry,
you
did you
will-
cough? I didn't. You were you sounded like you had something in your throat. What? Being a dick.
You're basically getting a message spell in your brain, and it's commanding you to pull over. License and registration, please. You have a tail light.
They like do like little lights in the air. Red, blue.
Yeah. One of them prestidigitates the cherries on the top of the mast.
So we have the wind at our back, and they're alongside us, wind at their back. Their sails are up, right?
Yeah, you're both
Oh.
now. They've turned as you guys were kind of on a slight angle, so they used to be straight on with the wind, and then you guys have slightly turned to get at best speed, and they've now pulled up beside.
And how far off our starboard are they now currently?
They're about 120 feet away.
So I'm obviously near the wheel. I'm going to say to the captain. I said, I think we need to get a little closer.
The captain looks at you and says, "They're saying we should let them board."
Yeah. So if we're gonna let them board, we need to be closer.
All right. Should I drop the sails?
No, not yet. Just pretend you can't hear what they're saying.
All right.
Just be like,
And he signals the flag boy, and they put the message not received flag up, and you can see the people on the other bridge starting to relay that message to their captain. It appears the captain, or at least the person at the tiller, is the one with the blue trim, and then there's a red trim and a green trim robe as well. And you can see this relatively clearly across the deck.
So, just a question here. In my extensively highly successful training as a commander, have I learned what all the ropes do?
In your whole day and a half of training,
Yeah.
you've got a basic idea of what the ropes do, yeah.
Would I know sort of how to tighten and loosen them?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's under over figure 8 for the most part.
Yeah. So we need, Captain. We need to get closer. Steer us closer.
All right. So
you, ideally, almost, but not quite within jumping distance.
Okay. So the captain just for now I'm just going to drop a mini there. This is Tammy, the Tortle, right there, by the way. So she's right up there with you, and she's helping to steer the ship, and you've got quite a few crew as well that I'm not going to drop off on this page, but at least I will, and when it becomes relevant. All right. So you go ahead, and I want you to do a proficiency. You are now proficient with sailing vessels, more or less. So I'm going to ask you to roll your either dexterity or wisdom and add your proficiency with that.
Okay. Yeah. Dex is... hang on a second. What is my dexterity? There's my dexterity. Okay, 15.
All right, not bad, not bad. So you do manage to like, you turn the tiller, and it just heaves to the right in this kind of carving, and it actually lurches the ship as it's turning to the starboard. It tilts to the port, and the whole deck just shifts with the wind, and everybody kind of grabs for something as they do this sudden shift. And then as you start to get within about 40 feet, 30 feet, you tilt it back the other way, and you're just carving with the wind, and the waves are just kicking up. In between the two ships is this churn of white water, and the mage ship kind of speeds up ever so slightly, so that now the stern of their boat is pretty much even with your midships.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Player
Now-
talking here.
Okay. Now remember the last time you followed one of Steve's plans. I'm just saying.
When we get within about 25 feet or so, I'm gonna cast Minor Illusion on any one of the barrels on the deck in order to make it look like it's on fire. And then I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and start using that hand to pop all the ropes so that all the sails come down, and it just causes loose rope chaos over there.
On their side.
On
All
their
right.
side.
Okay. All right. That's your
Fire
plan.
on loose ropes everywhere.
All right. What is everybody else doing?
Dreamy yells, "Hi!" and starts waving. It might seem like maybe they're close enough that they might be able to hear me.
I don't know that they're corresponding, right? Because it's in the head. So I'm just basically, I see him getting closer, and I'm just kind of preparing my short bow, hiding. I'm actually kind of trying to stay out of sight, hiding, so that if shit goes down, I'm putting
You
an
can
arrow
just
in
pop
someone.
out. So you're actually in the doorway, just slightly in the hall, just ready to pop out and fire off some arrows. You might need to kind of stretch up to high to get the shot off, but that should work. Tillman, what are you doing?
I'm gonna cast Bless.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
Who are you gonna bless?
Rook, Hilda, and Gex, because I don't know Dreamy.
Sorry, Dreamy. Sorry.
I don't know Dreamy like that.
Now, just so you know,
Yeah,
Don't do
they're-
me that way.
That'd be
on the
like,
map,
blessing
their
a random
starboard side
sailor.
is going to
You
be on
wouldn't bother.
the top, just so you're aware.
Say again, sorry.
So if you're on the map, the starboard side, which is where their ship is on the top of this map.
Okay.
Just an FYI. There you go. Nice. All right. Hilda, what are you doing?
I am going to sort of just prepare my stance, and like if we do get boarded, that I'll sort of be like the first line to prevent anyone from going up towards
Nice.
where Gex
All right.
standing.
Okay. I think that's pretty much everybody. Tillman, what were you doing? Oh, you cast Bless. So you're standing halfway up there, and you're just mutter a prayer, and everything kind of gets dim just for a second. It's almost like a cloud goes over the sun for a moment, but only locally. And it's just dim for a second, and you feel like this little of starlight just touch upon your skin for just a second, and then those who are blessed have that improvement. All right, you were standing on the deck of Bullship, and a couple of things happens kind of at the same time. One, a very loud voice calling out for all to hear now, but amplified as if by magic, is just like, "You will stop your vessel for inspection. You have passed into the territory of Tathathan." I think that's what I said before. Tathathan. And you will be boarded, and then you will be allowed to proceed after inspection.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
So that was amplified from the red robe guy on the far side.
I'm just gonna, like, I guess, hidden away from them sign. I don't know if Gex can see me, but just...
You'd have to kind of pop out and stick your hand up above the deck, but you can do that.
Like, you just
kind of
like
below him.
reasonable request or not.
What do you think? You can take a second to confer.
Yeah, like, maybe I do, like, maybe we do confer. So, like,
You
okay,
can
so
hide
they're
again
not
after, it's fine.
necessarily... They want to do an inspection.
I'll ask the captain. I was like, is there anything that, if they find it, will cause us problems?
Nothing that I brought, but I don't know what Calvin hired you to do. Just saying.
No contraband that we've brought.
There's only one thing that Calvin gave you, if you remember.
I do. Nope.
No, what was it? Forget.
I have.
An orb.
I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I'm not lifting it out for you guys. Just
No.
Just like
This
yeah.
thing that nobody's supposed to know about.
Don't let them know I have this.
I can't hear you. It's windy.
No, nothing. I had this.
I'll just sign back. I'm like, I'm ready to cause chaos over there. It's up to you. I don't know.
That's the thieves' sign of like.
That's just...
just say, your call, and I go back and hide and get
And you
ready.
go back and hide. All right.
Okay. Gold dice, it's chaos. Black dice,
Oh,
it's...
we're letting the dice.
Oh boy, chaotic
Okay.
nature.
All right.
All right. What is it?
I will be causing chaos.
I think the music knew before you did. All right. Okay. So, a few things happen. Number one, you see smoke start to burst forth and flames from one of the barrels on one of their ships. It's really obvious. And a few seconds later, you can see some of the crew on their side, the regular dressed crew, kind of being like, "Hey, what? What's up?" And then they're making general, hubbub. And at that point, a couple of their sails start to go slack. It's going to take you a while because you did the one thing, you got to wait 6 seconds, and do the next thing. But very slowly, some chaos is beginning to happen up on their ship. Can I just generally, I would like you, Steve, to roll for chaos.
Yeah.
Target number, who knows?
Target number is how much chaos you want to roll. Oh no, that is...
It's a nat 20. Like legit.
Ooh, the
Okay.
fire starts spreading.
One of the sails
Not
falls
fire.
down on top of one of these barrels, and one of the sailors on their ship freaks out and just grabs this barrel that's on fire and be like, "We can't let it burn," and just chucks it off the ship. This false fire burning on top of this thing. And he bravely tried to do that. You see the barrel go through the air for a second, and then you can see not the blue wizard, but the red one has been maintaining this wind to keep up because you guys didn't slow down. And so the gust spell that is keeping up the constant stream is actually just off to what will be the port of the ship, hitting the sails at just the right way. And as the barrel that he threw hits that, instead of falling into the ocean, it gets flung up against one of the sails and gets tangled in it, and it starts to fall down. and their whole ship loses speed on the side that is nearest to you, and suddenly veers. It's slower on the left than it is on the right, and all of a sudden the right side start to pitch in a port fashion, aiming directly towards your ship. And so
hopefully whoever's at the wheel.
you were at 25, 20, 15, 10.
Oh. They look like they need help.
5.
Veer to
Roll.
port!
You can hear Tammy be like,
God damn it! Brace for impact!
and I'm gonna need everybody to do a dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Goddamn chaos monkeys.
God damn it, chaos monkeys.
Yeah.
You do have bless, some of you, just so
Oh,
you know.
yeah, that's right.
I mean,
Who
yeah.
has blessed? Who did you bless?
Everybody except
Alright.
Dreamy.
15. Good work, Lash.
So add 4 to mine then, so now it's 18.
Oh, nice. All right, Gex, you're
I'm at
fine
8.
as you hold the tiller and pull to the side to lessen some of the damage. It does splinter wood, and some of the sail ropes get all tangled up on the top, and you can see the ends of the booms cutting across of this tall ship because of the sudden veering of their ship. They actually kind of clack together, and some of the ropes get all tangled, and the rigging is just on this one side is a bit of a mess. But you haven't taken too much structural damage to your ship. Speaking of ship, how your ship works, if I remember correctly, is you've gotten a certain amount of hit points for the various components of your ship.
When?
It's a little complicated, but essentially, I had it all written out. But essentially, you've got 300 points worth of hull. Somebody write that down. If your hull points are gone, you sink like a stone, just so you know.
Oh.
You've got about 50 points worth of rigging. And for every 10 that you lose on the rigging, you're going to lose 5 speed. Just so you know. So right now your speed is probably about... let's start it at 60. And because it's a pretty brisk wind right now. So that's your speed. I hope you're writing these down. You've also got... that's pretty much it in terms of hit points. Rigging and the hull. I thought there was more, but I'm forgetting it right now. But that's okay. So, just so you can track damage to the ship. I'm going to roll... that many. So, 16 points of hull damage from the impact. And I'll do the same. Ooh. For the rigging, also... actually, that is the more damaging thing, as you take 16 points. Double 16s. It's the night of 16s. I just realized that. It's Sweet 16, folks.
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. Alright, the rigging also takes 16 points of damage, so it's down by 5. So you're at 55 speed at the moment.
Just
Okay.
start shouting across at the other guys like, do you know how to steer a ship? Turn the wheel this way, ship goes that way. Turn it this way, ship goes that way. What kind of crew you got over there trying to inspect us? We should be inspecting you!
All right.
When who inspects the inspectors?
High
Who
seas
inspects
road
the
rage incident going on right there. Meanwhile, does anyone else want to do anything? The ships
Well-
are in contact at the up towards the bow, less so
I
at
feel
the
like-
back.
I feel like with an 8, Hilda probably pitches somewhere.
Oh yeah,
Like, that's-
Hilda,
yeah.
you go flying forward because the whole thing, and a little bit center, and you bump into kind of where the mast is, and you manage to steady yourself against the mast.
Okay.
And Rook, how did you got an 18?
15.
Oh, 15? That's enough. And you're in a good spot. You kind of brace against the doorway that you're in, and you don't get tossed or anything. Tillman, how did you do on your save?
8.
Oh boy. Tillman. Seriously? Alright. Tillman, you were halfway up the stairs. I'm going to
This
ask
is going to be a wonderful day.
So, I'm going to ask you to roll a d12 for me. This is a 12 o'clock roll based on the direction that you're going to end up going. Please note for our listeners at home, if he rolls a 6, that's probably going to end up over... Oh, he rolled a 5. That's not much better. Okay, so for some fluky reason, you go against the movement. Like, it's like you were over-braced. Like, expecting too much, and you just push off, and you end up going back this way. And you're like, you hit the railing, and you're dangling, about to go over the edge. I'm going to need you to make a choice. Would you rather swallow your pride or fall prone?
All my pride.
Swallow your pride
prone.
or fall prone. Or go overboard. Technically, there's a third option.
There's always a
I'm gonna swallow my pride.
All right. So, you hit the railing, and just the angle that you do, because you're halfway up the stairs, you start to pitch over, and your feet ass over tea kettle, just boom, up over, and your one hand is holding onto the railing as you go over, and boom, 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 and you're dangling against the side of the ship on the wrong side of the railing, and your grip starts to slip as the ships grind together, and you're just like, no, 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 ah! And your pinky and your thumb are the last one, and then boom, your hand slips, and this other arm reaches out and grabs you. Your 3 fingers interlocking over the forearm. 3 other strong fingers gripping your forearm and just pulls you back up, and you're dangling. And Tammy looks down at you, and she's just like,
"Oh, you're not getting away that easy. You don't get to walk out again, you bastard. You don't get to take the easy way out. You're gonna stick around, and you're gonna deal with this consequences of your goddamn actions."
Hey, thanks, Tammy.
Don't thank me. Thank your fledglings. I don't want to explain to them why I didn't save their father.
and she hefts you back up onto the ship.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was that, Tammy. Right.
I'm not gonna hear the end of this.
All right. Meanwhile, what does everybody want to do? It is chaos level 20. What do you want to do?
I'm going to wait to see what they do. Like I'm specifically going to take a look at the mages, and I'm holding my action to see if they are doing anything offensive towards us. Like if they're going to try to attack us.
Yeah, I think I'm just sitting and watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, cool looking.
You see them. The crew is fighting a lot to try to. Most of their crew is fighting to get the ships untangled. Your own crew is busy doing the same. As you're all kind of eyeballing what's going on, it's definitely thrown them for a loop. And one of the mages just you see them, and you can even kind of hear them. It's the same voice that you heard earlier, as they're like, not amplified this time though, but in shouting. They're like, Tren, with me, 2 men. And they walk over together, and kind of their midships, and the green robe just puts a hand on somebody and a hand on somebody else, and then there's just this little flash of like light for just a second, and then a brilliant flash of light right up next to where Gex is, right up by the captain, as they just immediately cross that distance between the two. Oh wait, yeah. Oh, hold on. Wrong button. Wrong button. Oop. Why did it drop it in exactly the right spot? That's annoying. And I know the internet's gonna yell at me and say, you can't move more than one person with Dimension Dwarf. Dumb. So we'll say it was 2 casters who did it. The blue also brought somebody. Bam, bam. And they're all right up there at the top. And they are in a semicircle kind of ring nearby Gex and the captain. The Tortle woman is over here saving Tillman. So, Gex, they have you, and they're pointing at you. You see one of them has a rod, a metal rod pointing at you. The 2 sailors that came with them both have cutlasses out. And they're like, stop this ship now.
Do you see brakes on this thing?
Are you sure you don't need assistance? It seems like your ship is having issues sailing. Being sailed by your sailors.
I'm gonna
don't know how to sail.
I'm gonna get you to roll a deception check, please.
Our crew's kind of new. I'm gonna get that roll here, but and I'm working on them. We can slow down here if that's helpful to you. If you would need help. What was my deception here? 16.
Pretty good, pretty good. Let me just, I gotta do all my dice rolls out in the open today, because... okay. 15. So they look at you and like,
That's good.
good. We'll all agree to stop then. And they look over at the blue mage and he gives a little nod. So the captain of your ship lowers the sails, gives the order, and the 2 ships take a while to kind of sort each other out and then lash together. It takes a little bit, but after a while the gangplank gets dropped and over walks a small contingency of well-armed sailors from that other ship.
Oh. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi. Hello. Hello there. Hi. Just each one coming on.
We got our own greeting.
Personal. It's very personal greetings.
Your whole job is Walmart greeter.
We have a sale on sales. If you need a sale.
Perhaps some ropes.
There it is.
Tie it all together.
So it
we
is
have
a
a knot tying course if any of you are interested, in order to make sure your ropes don't pop.
Awesome. So in all, they bring over about 8 sailors to kind of...
I'm definitely not letting them see me.
Yep, that's fair. So Rook ducks down deeper into the ship. They bring over 8 sailors and the 2 mage-looking people. And so the green mage comes walking up and within sight of Gex, talks to the captain and says, "You're in the southern waters, and we will need to inspect your vessel. We expect you to stop and comply. If you do not, we will deal with you."
Oh, we're stopping, aren't we?
Yep.
Captain?
And so you all stop, and they begin to do a series of investigations. So if anybody is trying to hide anything, Rook, and somebody was going to have to roll. Well, what was the stealth check on behalf of Anna?
16, I think.
I believe she rolled
an
an 18.
Yeah, I think it was an 18, and she's going to have
Yeah.
some modifiers to that. So that's
Yeah.
going to be a 22 in. Oh no, sorry, 21 in all. All right.
Okay.
So there is a series of investigations as these, and you don't put up any obvious fights. Although if anybody
I'm
else
actually
wants
going to be
do
staying
anything tricky-
hidden too, though, right?
Sure.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll a stealth check for me, please.
Okay. And I am definitely going to be using my other ability, knowledge from a past life. But okay, stealth. Let's do this.
I mean, if you guys want to fight, you could fight them too if you want to. Just saying. don't have to.
18.
Are you telling us what you'd like to see?
No, man. It's totally up to you. If you can talk your way down. They do not seem overtly. They're pompous, and they
Not
are
overtly hostile.
entitled. They are not actually striking any blows, at least not initiating anything. As they split into kind of two parties and begin circling. One of the parties stays with the captain and near Gex. The other begins a very slow, methodical search of the ship. How'd you do on your stealth total?
18.
Okay, nice. All right. So let's do a series of rolls with advantage. 14, 2, nat 1, and 11. Okay. See how the second match does. 6, 10, 5, and 11. Yeah. They don't see shit. All right. So they go through and they like kick over a couple barrels and like look around, and the cook like gives them like the cut eye and offers them some food that Dreamy cooked, and it makes one of them vomit immediately.
Dreamy's definitely like following them, like kind of distracting them and stuff. Like, oh, are you joining us? I just got here. Who are you from?
Go ahead.
You want
It's
to
like
peel
so they can't
potatoes?
concentrate.
Absolutely. So you're just running interference.
Not intentionally, of course.
Dave, now that you're back on the vessel, having been saved by someone who apparently, yeah, that's complicated. What are you doing all this?
Well, they're not displaying any aggression or anything, so it's just
I'm just chill.
stand back and just smoke a pipe.
Nice. You're smoking a pipe and just catching the occasional glare from Tammy. All right, and they spend the better part of an hour crawling over your ship, looking around. They go into the surgeon. They try to wake the guy, and the guy's like, "Oh, don't. No, I'm not ready for my exam." And at one point they get pretty close to Rook, but you manage to like Spider-Man style wedge yourself in a high spot up by the bunks, so they smack all the hammocks to make sure they're empty, but you're wedged up in the corner behind the hammock, and they don't seem to catch you. Yeah, you're the professional.
So they do all this searching and they can't find the tools I lost?
I don't even think the gods can find the tools you lost. Like, I'll tell you at the end of the episode where those tools went. Just stick around for that. I'm not even joking. All right. So after a time, they come back and they say, they start to ask the captain a bunch of questions. Where are you going? Why? All of that. And during that whole search, the captain and Gex and anybody else who's kind of in that area gets the degree, you know. And after that, they seem pretty satisfied that you're just on your way to the spines and you're not forcing anything. Gex, I'm gonna get you to do a persuasion or deception check.
Oh, let's go deception. 15.
15 ain't bad. That's a 13.
Oh.
So the blue mage spends a while kind of asking you questions and inquiring. And sorry, did you do persuasion or deception?
Deception.
Okay. So you are a very practiced liar, and you've been interrogated by some good interrogators. This guy's pretty good. He knows, like, just your general nature, being a Goliath, he's underestimating you. And that is what saves you in this case. He's just like, you can't be smart because you're big. And you're a bit older, so you probably don't know what you're doing. But that is the one saving grace, because they came in just a little shy. And you let them believe that. And after a time, the mage says, "All right. You will turn your ship due east and sail that way for 2 days. Do not turn until you've gone at least 20... that gives it for 2 days. Sunset on the second day, you may resume your course."
Okay.
Oh, and Captain, do be careful. There are plenty of creatures that ply these waters, far worse than us. We wish you well in your journey. Should you wish to contact us, or make a complaint to our complaint department, we would ask you to write a letter, bend over, stuff it up your ass.
In triplicate.
Good day. And they walk back. They walk, not guac. They eat some guac, and then they walk back across the gangplank off of your ship, and your ship carries on its way.
Bye.
Dreamy, do you want to stick around or go on their ship?
Yeah, I think so I was following them around that whole time, right? So probably I'm asking them what they're doing and where they're going and does that sound interesting? So either I don't find it interesting or they say no. I don't know which.
You try to follow, and one of them just stops you and is like, "No, seriously,
Well, that
man.
sounds interesting.
No. We're on official Mage Tower. I'm a Mage Tower man. Go away. Go on. Go on." He kind of kicks at you.
We can't take pets on this.
We're not allowed. He starts throwing little pebbles at you to try to scare you off. And you're kind of on the gangplank, and you scurry back to this side, and the gangplank goes and pulls off, and off they go. And your chance at another life as the pet of a mage seems to go away as the sails are raised. And Hilda,
Yes.
your captain commands you to get to work on doing some repairs to the damage. So I'm gonna need you to do either let's do a strength or dexterity check, and you are most notably not proficient.
Okay. I rolled a 13 plus, so I'm rolling for strength. That's a little bit higher. bonus than my dexterity.
All right.
And plus 3 with my bonus. That would be 16.
16 is not bad. I mean, maybe
If you
you're
hit
kind
the
of
nails hard, it makes up for the lack of skill.
yeah.
I was like, can't let Papa down again.
So you just brute force your way through, and the kind of gruff crewman who's been looking after you, trying to teach you the ways. It's a halfling by the name of Grunter. That's new. With a D though, Grunder, and kind of gives you this half begrudging nod, and then wanders off, and be like, "Yeah, but if I could find my tools." All right.
I'm gonna check on Anna.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She
Like
emerges from underneath this bunk. It's a storage locker basically, and she emerges out. And Rook, you go to open it up, and for a heartbeat, when you open up that, she looks up at you, and she's got this pale, sickly, sallow, greenish tint to her skin, completely black eyes, long, just wild, twisted hair with bits of green seaweed and moss, and she's wearing the same clothes she was before, and she looks up at you and oh, it's you.
Yeah, you owe me one.
I do. And I will repay when the time is right. And she pulls out, kind of reaches into her a little bundle of cloth that she's been carrying around with her, and she pulls out a seashell, a small seashell. And she opens your hand. And when she takes your hand, she's got these super elongated limbs and fingers that you hadn't noticed before. And she's cold and clammy to the touch. And she takes your hand, and she places the shell in front of it and folds your fingers. And her fingers, although they start in the same place as yours, easily go past and touch, like brushing uncomfortably against your wrist, even though she's back here. And she just closes that over and gives you a slight nod, and then retreats. And then she goes back, and she kind of straightens herself, and the next time you look again, she looks like she did before. Kind of dirty blonde hair and like slightly over sunburnt skin. And the rest of you and your bullship continue on your journey. And I think, unless anyone wants to do anything else, I think that's where we're going to call it for the night.
Nice.
That's good.
Nice. Good.
All right.
Good deceptions all around. Good chaos. Good chaos.
I
Yeah.
guess my
that was-
only question is, does Rook have to roll for like some sort of horrific visage or something? I don't know. Just just maybe. I don't know.
I believe that has to be triggered, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm just
no.
saying.
It actually.
I know what you're
No.
doing.
Darcy is
Oh.
right. Darcy is right.
Oh.
I'm going to need you to do a wisdom saving throw, my friend.
Oh. Okay.
It's fine.
You'll probably be fine.
I'm like, yeah, I feel like I know what this is.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the 18.
18.
Yeah, you're good.
You're okay.
Yeah,
you are
But
not
I get
frightened.
the
I mean,
sense what it is.
I'm not going to tell you how to feel about her. If you're frightened by this creepy teenage girl, that's your business. But
It's kind of funny. I'm not too freaked out. Like, I know that obviously she's not normal, but also I'm not normal really either. So I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, you know.
Aw, kind of like.
And
I'm kind of also distracted with all like other things going on with me. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So she's not quite human. Who is nowadays?
Boy, you're not wrong
Who
about
even
that.
is?
You're really not wrong about that.
the voice of Lo,
Lo.
goes in your mind.
Yeah,
And
you know
you
what she
all-
is?
Sail off into the night.
I have heard of creatures like her. They call them the children of the sea.
And they
It
sell
is not
seashells by
a
the
good
seashore.
thing. Not a good thing.
Well,
As
But
long as they're not
sometimes
not
not good can be what you need.
Okay, as long as she's not causing us trouble.
I would not trust her too far. But her word is probably true.
Good enough for me for now.
And you whisper that, and your voice reverberates, just bouncing off around your head, just with that little slight metallic ring to it. All right. And with that, I think we're going to call it there. So, hey, everybody, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for watching and listening after the fact. Hey, big shout out to Utah, by the way. Utah, you're where it's at this week. Thanks so much. So, yeah, we can keep pitting the states against each other. Hey, Canada, I'm sorry, Canada, but you got to up your game. Like, just a little bit more. But I'm real happy that we can have some people join us either live or after the fact. And I'm real happy that we got a chance to all play together. So thank you so much. That was fun. I'm sorry we didn't have a combat. I know you're kind of itching for combat. I had it ready. I had it. I wrote out the AC.
all the sheets. All the
I
sheets.
made them like
motive.
pirates,
Have a good
bloodthirsty pirates or something.
You rolled a 98, so it was a Mage Tower patrol.
So,
And-
I think that us avoiding combat displays good diplomacy and skill, and should allow us to level up to number 4.
I think it's more impressive that with all the chaos.
I would agree.
We did not end up.
I was
first.
kind of surprised it didn't go that way. So I will tell you what. Roll for begging. No, I'm kidding.
Roll for
That's
begging.
I
fine.
have a move for that, actually. I have a move. It's a racial ability of kobolds called Grovel, Cower, and Beg.
Grovel, cower, and beg. Your way
Yeah.
to success. Grovel, cower,
It grants
beg,
my allies
profit.
advantage on attacks against the person that I'm annoying.
That is so funny. Oh, that's
official
madness.
kobold rules from Bola.
That is
Yeah.
amazing. All right. So you've grovel, cowered, and begged your way to level 4. Congratulations, everybody. Those who were not already level 4. I think that's Tillman.
Yeah, there's no roll. There's no roll for it.
Yeah.
so.
No, you just get it. It's a feat. All right. We do need an episode name for today. So if anybody has a suggestion for an episode name.
I'm thinking either Sweet 16 or Maximum Chaos.
Either of those is
Both
pretty darn good.
But pretty good.
I think I like the chaos thing.
Maximum
Is what actually got role played.
maximum chaos, minimum casualties.
Oh, that's the
I like-
one. Maximum
I
Chaos.
like
Yeah,
it. I
pretty
like that.
good.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Well, thanks very much, everybody, and I look forward to doing this next week when we can get up to some nonsense, and we'll see what you roll next time. You have made your way approximately halfway to the island at this point, and so we'll probably have one more at sea episode. But you have successfully met a very strange creature, basically the teenage daughter of a sea witch. So I'll let that out. I figured you'd figured that. So yeah. So she was on her way, making her way away from mom's house, mom and mom's house, over to make her way in the world. And you now have a favor, Rook, from a sea witch for helping protect her from people who were hunting her.
Amazing.
I love a good
Oh,
sea hat.
so
And I'm not
Favors
sure,
in high places and low places.
but Dreamy, you may or may not be her familiar. I'm just saying. That's up to you.
Who could say?
Get in the sack.
I don't know if you're able to join us next time, but I do hope you can join us again soon. It's always fun to play.
Whenever I'm available, I will jump at the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic.
Great.
And
That's great.
hope everybody stays healthy and happy and has an excellent week. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
So where did...
All right. I said I was going to say that. All right. The bottom of the sea is littered with all kinds of refuse discarded. And you see this toolbox drifting down and land, and a hammer and chisel and all kinds of various implements falling gently to the land below. And you see this greenish tail swim past, and then this shadowy figure swirling around this toolkit. And she picks up this hammer. This creature dressed essentially in seaweed and rags, or very little at all, and looks at it and kind of puts it against their head and just pulls, and the little claw tooth drags along and snags a bit, and she just wrestles her way free, and she's like, throws it away and swims off.
Not as good as a dingle hopper.
Not as good as a dingle hopper. Absolutely. That's probably copywritten. All right. That's all I got. I was going to make it the sea hags. The moms of the sea hags. But mermaid's more fun. Mermaid's more fun. All right. Good night, everybody.
All right.
feel free. And I just wanna be me. Yeah, I just wanna go so crazy. I just wanna be a freak. Yeah, I just wanna rise to the top. Yeah, I just wanna go reach the peak. So I've been really focused on success. Hey, y'all will see. Yeah, you won't see that I will get it. Cause I'm really focused, man. I make it with the rap and I just follow my path. I just follow my passion. To me, this is what's precious. Yeah, in my soul, man, I can feel it. So every single verse, man, I just gotta go and kill it, man. I gotta be the kid. I could be the guy taking you out. I could be the villain.